All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Martha Lance. I'm one of the academic advisors in the Honors College, and I will be introducing the peer mentor shortly who will be leading this meeting. And first and foremost, I wanted to welcome everyone to the Honors College, your new home, and to the University of Vermont, where you will be coming shortly in the fall. So tonight we're going to be talking about our community. We're also going to have an opportunity for you to ask questions of the peer mentors about just about anything. And we will also leave plenty of time for chat and discussion. Ben will be the peer mentor leading and moderating this conversation. And so hopefully we'll have a good time and answer any issues that you have about anything. So first, I wanted to invite you to our community. We are a strong community in the Honors College, and I wanted to briefly chat about current events and the challenges we're all facing. I wanted to assure you that the Honors College is a strong community of inclusion, and we all have responsibility towards each other and towards our community. So you are part of this community, and I welcome your thoughts on what it means to be in this kind of community. I welcome your thoughts too about how we create a safe and inclusive place of learning and living. So this will be our journey for the summer. In the next couple of weeks, there'll be several opportunities for you to get to know each other, your peer mentors, and perhaps some of the faculty and Dean Gentlemen. We'll have events such as Trivia Night coming up on June 15th. We'll have a virtual tour of campus coming up on the 30th, and this will be followed in July with other activities. So be sure to look on the HCOL website for a schedule of events. We'll be adding to this almost daily. Part of the summer charge that we are about to give you, though, is to think about community. What does it mean? What kind of community do you want to live in? How can you be an active member of community? How can you support everyone who lives within the community? Things right now are pretty crazy in our country. We have the COVID virus, then we have racism ablaze all over the country, institutional racism as well. I'm speaking personally about this. It has no place in the Honors College. It has no place in our country. We all have responsibility, I think, to try and figure out a way out of all of this. And I welcome you to think about that. And we're here to support you. There are a lot of resources on campus for all of us and people of color too in these difficult times. So please don't feel shy about reaching out to me or anyone in the Honors College because we can direct you to support. All right, on that note, let's turn this meeting over to the peer mentors. And Ben, I think you're on, and I'll continue to admit people.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Will. I'm one of the peer mentors this year. I'd like to direct you to a few features of Zoom if you haven't used Zoom yet before we get started. If you have a question and you'd like to ask your question aloud, please use the reaction button and I can call on you. I'll see you that way. If not, you're welcome to use the chat, which is to the left of the share screen button at the bottom to type your question in, and I will read it aloud to the panel of peer mentors that we have tonight. For those of you who are not in my group, you haven't heard my bio, but I am a rising junior at UVM. I'm a biochemistry major, and I have a minor in pharmacology. I'm a pre-med student, and I will be moving into my apartment this summer, so I'll be in Burlington all summer long, hopefully doing research. So that's me. Also on the panel tonight, we have Cal. Cal, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Cal Hale. I'm a rising sophomore. I'm a double major in political science and geography, the minor in studio art. And I am at home right now in Heartland, Vermont.
Sophia, you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. My name's Sophia. I'm originally from Bennington, Vermont, but I'm spending the summer up here in Burlington milking cows. I'm a rising senior animal science pre-vet major in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
Maryann?
Hey everyone, hope you're well. My name is Maryann. Inside the classroom, I'm a biology major and I'm a master's in public health candidate. And outside of the classroom, I'm something of a student journalist. I write for the Cynic. And I am on the rock climbing team, which is super fun. So feel free, I'm gonna put my email in the chat. I think everyone's going to, if you want to direct like questions during this specifically to us, or if you want to put them into the chat, whatever works for everyone. It's good to meet you all. I look forward to seeing you guys in August. I'm gonna be moving into my first apartment too. Heck yeah.
Tessa, you want to go next?
Hey everyone, my name is Tessa. It's so nice to see you all virtually. Can't wait to see you soon. I'm a rising junior with a major in biology and a minor in chemistry in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I'm also on a pre-med track. So interestingly enough, I actually came to UVM my first year as an English major. So if you ever have any questions about switching majors, switching classes, scheduling, kind of my jam. So yeah, I hope you all are doing well, and definitely feel free to email us now or after the meeting if you have any questions that you forget to ask during this.
Did I miss anyone? There are pages of participants here. So.
Maddie might come later on, and she's having some technical difficulties, but Maddie's super cool. She is.
Hi.
Oh, great. Hey, Maddie.
Yeah. So for some reason, Zoom isn't working on my computer. I'm trying to re-download it, so I'm on my phone right now. But hi, everyone. I'm Maddie Miller. I'm going to be a third year an art education major in the College of Education and Social Services. In my free time, I do stuff with Res Life. I'm an RA, which is a lot of fun. And then I also like to volunteer downtown at the Burlington City Arts Gallery and with some of their family programs and things. A lot of fun.
Okay, so now we can open it up to questions. Anyone have anything pressing?
Ben, I just wanted to, can I just introduce myself really quickly since I got in a little bit late?
Sure thing, I didn't realize you were here.
Yeah, thank you. I was having tech issues. Martha and I were texting. So I'm sorry that I missed the beginning, everyone, and I missed Martha's remarks too. But I'm Scott Clark, and I am the other academic advisor in the Honors College. I don't know what Martha shared with you all, but I am really, really excited to meet you all come August and hopefully engage with some of you over the course of the summer. I don't see everyone. I haven't looked at all the names, but some of you, I may already be a familiar face at this point. And I'm not going to take up much time. This is the Peer Mentors show. They're the stars here. Make no mistake about it. So I'm just really glad that you are coming to UVM. Really, really excited to work with you. You'll hear more from me and from Martha over the course of the summer. I'll throw my email in the chat just so that you can always reach out to me with any questions, any concerns, just to say hi, anything at all. I'm always ready and willing to hear from you and field your questions, and really looking forward to working with many of you and getting to know as many of you over the summer as possible. Really great to see so many folks here. Thanks for turning out. And I'll kick it back over to the peer mentors. Thank you, Ben.
All right, so does anyone have any questions? Anything at all? No.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when it comes to registering for classes and stuff, I know that starts on June 15th, I believe. Is it true that the Honors College students get priority over other colleges?
During the semester, like, you do get priority registration. I'm not sure how it's working this summer for your first semester, but going into your second semester, for instance, we have what's called registration week. And so different people get to register on each day. And so Martha, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe as of last year, first year students in the Honors College get to register on the first day of registration week.
Yeah, it's a little different this year because obviously we're not doing orientation on the ground, but you will have priority. What is your major, Abby?
I'm in environmental studies.
Yeah, so there, you will have priority over the other first years for your courses. And you should be meeting with some CAS advisors, I think, in the next week or so, and they should be reaching out to you. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Just to add, even after your first year, you still will get priority registration. Typically, your class will register at 7 a.m. and Honors College students can register at 6:30 on the same day. So even after your first year, you'll still get a little bit of a head start.
Also, too, just to add on to that, registering for classes is based on your credit count because a certain amount of credits correlates to a class level. So for example, a lot of you may have a lot of AP credits coming into college and could technically, in the eyes of the university, appear as a sophomore in credits. So that can also, in later semesters, determine what day you register during registration week.
We have questions rolling in the chat now. When will you guys find out about your rooming situations? Does anyone know?
I actually think I do know. I think the answer is July 1st, but pause, give me a second. I'm gonna log on to Res Life and get back to everyone. Yeah.
Well, Maryan's figuring that out. We have another question. What are the requirements for courses specifically with math? Your course requirement is determined based on your major. Would you mind sharing your major, Sarah?
I'm political science.
Okay. Are any of you guys Poli-Sci? I don't know anything. I mean, we can Google that, but I don't know anything about Poli-Sci.
Yeah, I'm Poli-Sci. So basically, if you're Poli-Sci, the math requirement is the College of Arts and Sciences general requirement, which is that you have to have one math class at college. But there's a broad range of things you can do for that. I took Intro to Data Science, which I would highly recommend. It was fun and informative and not real challenging because I'm not great at like calc type of math. So I'll put a link in the chat in a minute to what the requirements for a Poli-Sci major are, because I think it's laid out really well on the department website. But basically, you only have to take one math unless there is like, this shouldn't stress anybody out, but there's like one little piece of the major where you have to go outside of Poli-Sci to do something else. And one of the options is to have a statistic, like extra knowledge in statistics. I'm doing extra knowledge in a foreign language, which is just taking an extra foreign language class. But basically, there's like 5 different ways you can work outside the major that count towards the major. But the short answer is one math class if you're in a non-math related College of Arts and Sciences major.
Thank you.
Okay, are all orientation type things happening online? As far as I'm aware, they are. Martha might have more information on that, but I believe the answer is yes.
Okay, so we're planning, it's all in planning stages, but we plan to have an orientation in August on the ground. And we usually have our own in HCOL the day before that. Right now, those dates are to be determined, and there'll be a university-wide orientation, I believe, on the ground in August. But most of our events in HCOL, and if you go on to the new student webpage, if you go on to the HCOL webpage, actually, you can see the link to our activities. Oh, here's, okay. Scott's listing some things, and also the new student orientation is there. So we will be doing a lot more activities this summer than we usually do. These will be throughout the summer through July and August, but we will have a a physical orientation in August at some point.
Just to jump back to the math question real quick, for non-Poli-Sci majors and just in general, UVM has what's called university requirements. All students need to fulfill in order to graduate. One of those is a quantitative reasoning requirement, which typically corresponds to a math-driven class. So I know, for example, Intro to Statistics usually fulfills that. So that is like kind of a general requirement, but then like the other peer mentor said, there are specific math requirements based on your major. Some will have more, some will have less.
Alrighty. Will you guys be getting information about dorm room sizes and dimensions? Do any of you guys remember what the dimensions of the dorms are? I don't. I'm sure I can find that. Anybody?
I don't know about the dorm rooms. I just clarify I was just calling the qualitative reasoning math, but yeah, it's just a qualitative reasoning requirement. It's not like there's extra math on top of that for my major, at least.
With dorms, I don't remember getting anything, but I also lived in the wellness environment in CCRH in my first year. So if anyone has specific questions about that, I can answer those and what it's like to be a dual citizen as well.
All right, well, I apologize, everyone. We don't have the dorm room size dimensions.
I lived in University Heights North my first and second year, and I don't think they ever gave actual like dimensions for the rooms. And part of that is because it does depend on the type of room you're placed in, whether it's, you know, single, double, triple, and even like the suites. There are different styles of suites. Some have a connected bathroom, some have a small common room. I mean, you might be able to find pictures online. I don't know if there is a lot. Just, I would say don't bring too much because you can always get stuff when you're at school, but you don't want to move in with a bunch of stuff and then have to send some of it home. You'll already have a bed and a desk and a dresser in your room, which obviously takes up a fair amount of space.
To circle back to the roommate question, I can't confirm July 1st, but I can confirm July, sometime in July. Be sure to check your UVM email for like kind of information. And move-in day is August 28th. So mark the calendars.
Okay, where can we find course requirements for our major? Typically, those will be listed on the department website. Within the UVM website, we can find what is your major. We can find Abigail. We can find that for you.
I'm environmental.
Okay, environmental science. Science or studies?
Studies.
Studies. Okay.
I would say I think the link I put in the chat, it has Poli-Sci in it, but if you change that to your department, there's a good chance that will work. If you like messing around with links, just copy that link and change where it's everything that says political science to whatever your major is, and it should come out right.
I mean, I know when I look for my major requirements, you can even go into Google and type UVM, and then you can type in your major. So like I will literally type in UVM biology requirements, and then a bunch of links will pop up either to my department's website or even to the specific page that lists like 1, 2, 3, 4, like here are my requirements. So yeah, as long as you like really specify on Google like UVM and then whatever you're looking for, you most often should be able to find something related to that.
Oh, Tessa, I think you make a great point there. And just to add on, I'm not certain that you guys have access to this before August, but you certainly have access to it afterward. It's a feature called My Passport, and it's in your My UVM account. And it's a way where you can look at what your major requirements are, and you can even process something called a what if. So what if I wanted to add a Poli-Sci double major? What if I took these classes at this time? And it shows you what you've taken and what that additional degree or minor or whatever else, what that might look like. So when we meet in August, and possibly before then, we can show you how to access My Passport.
Cool. we're going to move on. Haley asks, says that she knows UVM offers undergrad research, but is not sure what year students would start. Is there anything a first-year student could do to prepare for future research prospects? You can start whenever. I know I'm starting the summer after my sophomore year, but people start at totally different times. Really, you just want to make connections with your professors, especially the ones who are in your major, to look up what they're researching, see what their projects are, talk to them about it. They'll love to talk to you about it. That's pretty much how it starts. Does anyone want to add anything to that?
I can add on to that because I'm getting ready to do thesis stuff. So yeah, like you said, Ben, first year you just make connections with professors are doing research. They all have websites detailing research they've done. You can shoot them an email, see if you can meet with them, if they're looking for anything. I know I started by just going to lab meetings and getting a better idea of what different students and professors in the lab are doing. And then you'll need to take at least 1 credit of research your junior year, and then the other 6, your senior year. So there isn't a rush. Don't feel like day 1 of college you need to be out there hunting for a lab. But if you're interested, you can certainly be proactive and start looking for potential places to get involved.
Yeah, I was just going to say the similar thing, Sophia, that as an honors college student, you are on a 4-year plan to complete a thesis in your junior and senior years. So in a way, honors college students will all participate in some sort of research. It just depends on when you kind of think it's right for you. I know for me, as I mentioned, I was an English major and switched to bio my sophomore year. So it wasn't in my best interest to try to get involved in research right away, right when I was starting the new major. So definitely don't feel pressure, your very first semester, oh, I have to get involved in research. I have to do it. It's there if you want it and the opportunities are there, but you also have to just judge, every major is different, every college is different, and will have different opportunities and availabilities. So definitely be on the lookout for it, but don't feel like you have to get involved day 1 and that's all, otherwise it won't work. It'll totally work out. And honors college really sets you up for success in research and then to graduate with that research experience.
Okay. Our next question comes from Jenna. Do we get to choose if we are in a private or suite style room? I believe there's a Res Life form that's going to come out a little bit later in the summer where you are able to specify which roommate you want if you meet someone on Facebook or through these chats or whatever we do. You can specify that you want to room with them. On that form, I might be wrong, but it's possible that they will have a question that specifies whether or not you can pick room styles that you can't afford. So if you really want a suite style, you can say you can't afford the private, and they'll try and get you into a suite style. But besides that, I don't think there's a way to manipulate it.
Yeah, I can confirm that. There's it's like a sliding scale of price based on what you want. So, a single private room with your own bathroom is going to cost a little bit more than a double suite style room. There's no guarantee one way or the other that you'll be in a room, but I've never heard of any issues. There's also a little form that you fill out that talks about your preferences, but whether you like to stay up at night, whether, I don't remember, Tessa or Cal, you guys might have a better handle on what the questions were but it tried to match you up with a roommate that was similar to you in some way.
I think it was if you what time you like to go to sleep. I think the exact question was, do you usually like to go to sleep before 11? And do you usually like to wake up after 8? And then it asked if you were generally pretty neat or messy or somewhere in the middle. I think it asked if you smoked. I'm not remembering anything else. I think it might have just been, that might have been all, or there might have been one or two other things, but it's pretty quick.
They do a pretty good job with it. I went random for my roommates, both freshman and sophomore year, and I didn't have any problems. So our next question, how does the math readiness test determine course placement? Someone else want to take that? Or...
Ben, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm trying to think back. I think like for Calc like 1, there's like math, what is it, 20? There's math 19 and math 21. And it's the same course requirement of like calculus 1, but 1 is for like engineering, comp sci kind of majors that will use more like advanced math. And then there's 1 that is more for like biology majors and like people who won't be using that same advanced math. So I think that the results of that placement test will kind of put you in one class or the other, but it doesn't really matter that much because you can switch it around once you get to campus. So like I remember my roommate, my first year, showed up to math 21. It was like, whoa, like relax, this is a lot. And so then she dropped down to math 19 and it was a lot better for her. So none of like your core stuff has to be set in stone. Your major doesn't have to be set in stone. Like you're good. You're right. You're great. So.
Yeah, I mean, the readiness test, from what I can remember, it's literally just going to ask you questions. It's just to hopefully gauge that you're getting put into a level of math that you can actually like thrive in, because like if you haven't taken, say like some people will take AP Calc and some won't, and so some will need to can do an upper level calculus course versus some will need that more foundational calculus level course. So it's really just to like help the university gauge like class placement. But like Maryann said, like stuff can get switched around. Like try not to worry about it too much. If say you go to class the first day and you're like, whoa, I think I'm in the wrong class. Almost like I would say 90% of the time there's ways to like work with the university to be in a level math class that is good for your learning and for your major.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. That sounds about right to me. Next question. How can we switch between colleges but with the same major? So switching from CAS to CALS in biological sciences. Has anyone done that before? I know it's possible. I haven't done it.
It's through my UVM. So to confirm, do you guys have access to my UVM? Yeah, okay, I see a couple of head nods. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna pull up my UVM right now, and I can actually show you guys the widget for advising. So if you're on the myuvm.uvm.edu, that will just bring you up to like the general my UVM homepage. And then if you look at more so towards the top of the screen, there's a couple of options. There's student, my schedule, registrar, that kind of thing. Go to advising, in parentheses, degree audit. And so then it's like advisor notes, academic profile, my degree audit. Sounds scary. It's really not. You're good. And so on the complete right, there's like a dark green banner if it's there for you guys, and it'll say run your degree audit, click here. And then that is where you can like look at your requirements for your major, and there's like a little option to run a what if, where you can change your major and your school. But if you ignore that and scroll down on the advising degree audit, it says declare or change your major, minor, or concentration, and then you can choose in your college/school or in another college school, and then using that you can switch it up. Tessa, do you want to confirm that that's the right way to do it?
I believe the way you described it is right, but I'll go on and check that.
Okay, cool. And it's not permanent. Like you can change it back. It's all good. Don't worry. You're good.
Okay. Maryann, when's move-in day again?
August 28th. And you can also, if you type in UVM academic calendar, you can see when the dates are for like Thanksgiving break, when's finals week. So maybe if you're planning a vacation during winter break and you want to know when you can hop on the cruise, you can check that out. And that's like, I think up to like a year in advance, maybe even more than that. You can type in the year on the calendar.
Are we able to get around some of the course requirements for majors with AP credits? Definitely. I got out of general chemistry with AP Chem credit, so you can definitely do that.
So just to pop in with the whole major minor school stuff real quick. Yeah, if you go into My UVM under advising, there's an option at the bottom of the page that says declare major minor in your college or in another college or school. So that's where you would go and submit what you're wanting to do. So for me, I wanted to declare a minor in chemistry, declare a minor in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I declare it, then it will go to that college and then it will get approved. Or they'll contact you and say, oh, we want you to meet with us first if it's a highly structured major. But yeah, that is how you would go about it. Sorry to cut you off, Ben.
No worries. Next question is actually related to APs. Does AP Calc credit impact the math placement test? I don't think so. Your math placement test will not determine whether or not you get credit for your AP course, but you should take the math placement test anyways, even if you're not taking math in college because you have all your credits. Where can I see all the classes required for my major / for every student to graduate? Again, I would direct you to your degree audit. That's probably the easiest place to see everything all at once.
And that's in the My UVM advising far right at the screen, dark green banner. Sorry, cut you off.
Is in-person orientation immediately before move-in day, or is it totally separate? Martha, do you have an answer to that?
I don't currently. Scott, do you know what you've been in on some of those meetings?
So what I know, what I've heard is that UVM will be staggering its move-in days, and for obvious reasons, right? Not everybody can move in at once. Move-in day looks very hectic, you know, in a typical year. So move-in day will be over the course of 7 to 10 days. What I don't know is how that impacts August orientation. I think that's up in the air still. Obviously, we don't want to orient students until there's a critical mass, until you all can get to know each other, build community, and so on and so forth. At the same time, probably orientation will be staggered too, because just like for move-in day, you have to stagger orientation so that there's not too many people in any one place. So it will be staggered. I would say the August 28th date, you know, I don't know for sure. It could change. I don't know enough to really say with any degree of certainty whether it will. It's possible that it could be moved up a little bit. I also know that UVM won't wait too long. Like if they're going to change the date, they will do so pretty soon, because they know that students have to make travel plans, including from all over the country and around the world. So I would say be patient. Definitely, you can always reach out to new student programs, which is their email is just NSP for new student programs. So nsp@uvm.edu. That might be a question that's worth passing along. I do think that they'll push information out sooner rather than later about something like that. They're not going to string you along. It's a complex thing for them to make a change like that. So that's why, you know, it's possible that it's still coming, but can't hurt to reach out to them if you're worried about travel plans.
How does requesting a roommate work? Does anyone want to answer that? I mean, I can do it, but.
I can go. There's a form on your UVM ResLife page that you click on, and it's also something that for first years is accessible in that initial survey we were talking about earlier with like the roommate matching process. All it does is it asks you for your roommate's net ID and for yours, and then you'll get a confirmation saying that you'll be able to room with that person.
What are the requirements for HCall? You have to take a seminar course each semester of your first 2 years at UVM, which is generally about 18 people. Pretty fun. They have a bunch of different topics that you can pick from. Besides your first semester, that one, everyone takes the same class. And then, Sophia, would you mind telling us about upperclassmen requirements, since I haven't gotten there yet?
Yeah, so that depends on what college you're in. So I just know Cal's. I know that we have a course we take in the spring of our junior year for 2 credits. Like I mentioned before, you do have to take your research credits, 6, 1 being in your junior year, and that's every college. But I would check with, you should have an advisor, and it should be listed on my UVM under the advising section, that is kind of like a liaison between your college and honors college, and they're a great person to ask about that. And it will also be listed on your degree audit as well for your specific college. But I can't speak for all of them, only Cal's.
I would just jump in about the first year, like the first and second year seminars. The first one is the one that you don't really have a say over the topic of it. It's everybody's doing the pursuit of knowledge. But the good thing about that one is that it fulfills the foundational writing and English literacy requirement, which you might have heard students who aren't in honors college talking about TAP classes. So basically everybody has to take like one small like writing intensive class, but this counts as that for you. So you don't have to worry about taking a TAP class your first semester.
Yeah, and then going off that kind of what Ben was mentioning earlier, after your first semester at UVM in the Honors College, the Honors College classes almost become elective-like in the sense that there will be maybe like 10 or 12 to choose from, ranging from different topics, from professors from different colleges on the campus will come and teach them in the Honors College. And that's a great way to fulfill requirements, especially for highly structured majors. It's a great way to fulfill the diversity requirements. There's usually ways to fulfill requirements in your college. For example, in the College of Arts and Sciences, there is a social science requirement. And I know one of my Honors College classes was able to fulfill that requirement as well as my Honors College requirement. After the first semester, you can almost think of them as like their Honors College requirements, but also like you can kind of choose which one best fits your interests or your major or maybe a future career.
Yeah, and if you're a double, like doing them for electives, I think is really cool because it's a fun way to explore something outside your major. But like if you do have like a double major, I know like I'm going to get credit like next semester for the sophomore honors college seminar that I'm in towards my Poli-Sci requirements. So you can even count it towards like in your major.
Okay. Before we go on, we have a lot of questions and I don't know if we'll get to all of them. So please know that you can definitely email us any questions that we don't get to and we will get back to you with our answers. So don't fret if we don't get to your question. If you guys are staying in a suite, will you find out who your suite mates are? I don't remember. Do you?
So I can attest to this because I was in a suite both my first year and my second year. When you are in a suite, you find out who is in your room. So for example, I lived in a suite. We actually had 5 people in it. Me and my roommate shared one room. And then I had 3 suite mates who shared another room. So when you get your roommate, it will list just your roommate. I believe. It will not list who else is living in the suite. That is something is usually left to a surprise. At least it was for me. I don't know if they're changing that, but the past 2 years, that's kind of how it's been.
I also remember a lot of people talking about it on the Facebook page for the class, asking like, is anyone in this room? Like, I'm your suite mates. So that's another way to find out. Is UVM planning to implement changes to residencies and classes in order to maintain social distancing? And will students be expected to be tested before moving in? Martha and Scott, I think that's a question for you.
So as you all can appreciate from where you are, the situation's quite fluid, and there's a whole group of faculty and staff working on contingency plans and having a safe arrival back on campus. So right now, we don't have a concrete plan in our portfolio, Scott and I. However, you can rest assured that the leadership is working hard on this, and there will most likely be some announcements in a couple of weeks as things become more certain. There is a lot of work being done with the Vermont Governor's Office and also the State Health Department. So I can't discuss anything specific with you right now because honestly, I don't know, but I am pretty confident, if not certain, that we'll be back together on campus in the fall, and that leadership will not take any risks with your health, with my health, with faculty members' health. So they are working on this, but as you can appreciate, even in your own hometowns, right, things are quite fluid. The Vermont currently is a pretty safe place to stay, obviously one of the safest in the country. The governor has been really forceful in making sure people social distance, wear masks. And so I think that if you are going to be coming to the state of Vermont, it's probably one of the safest places. That having been said, there are a lot of complex parts that the university has to work through. Classroom size, sanitation, all those sorts of things. But believe me, they are working on these issues. And so, unfortunately, I feel like I'm a politician right now. Unfortunately, I can't tell you anything really specific other than please be patient. If you have specific concerns or your parents do, our Dean Gentleman is very accessible, and he's one that that would be fielding these questions in the future. And you're welcome to reach out to me and to Scott. And of course, the peer mentors are also part of our leadership team, and we'll all be working together to welcome you in the fall, excuse me, and also to make sure we have a great experience. But as for knowing whether or not you'll be getting extra toilet paper to put in your bathrooms, I can't tell you that sort of thing. You do get free toilet paper though in University Heights North.
No charge, yeah. I would just say a couple of things, and like I would echo Martha's concern about, unfortunately, we just have to punt on some of these questions because they're so far outside of our role. And you'll learn with time that our role actually is quite expansive, right? But it's also, there are limits to it. So we do have to kind of encourage you to ask new student programs some of these questions. Dean Gentleman is actually, he is a really great resource. Not that he's the expert on housing issues, but he is involved at a very high level in some of the planning. So what I can say too, like at the risk of sounding somewhat like a politician, is that I'm a pretty skeptical person by nature. I have a pretty critical lens for like institutional, like massive bird's eye view institutional goings on. And I've been really, really impressed by what they've been working on. And I will say, like, I'll speak frankly for a second and say, because UVM, or because of the state of Vermont has such a low number of cases, I do believe the plan is to test everyone when they get to campus in order to keep Vermont as safe as it's been. So I believe that's the plan. That's not based on like any solid announcement that's come from the university, but I think that would be the wise thing to do. So I think that's what will happen. Remember that UVM has the benefit of being affiliated with a medical center, right? So we can lean on our partners at UVM Medical Center for a lot of expertise and guidance and knowledge and best practices, right? I mean, this is unprecedented, right? But there are still best practices in public health. And the last thing I'll say is, in terms of classroom space, dorms, all of that, we definitely have to defer to higher level folks on campus for those kinds of questions. But ultimately, just know that UVM is going above and beyond. And I'm not just saying that, I really believe that. They're going above and beyond when it comes to keeping students safe. So yes, they will make some unusual moves when it comes to rearranging dorms, all kinds of different things, right? Using classrooms creatively, having really innovative ideas to make sure that this experience is still engaging and positive. And I've been really impressed so far, right? We want to make it work, right? The university wants it to work. So stand by for more information. Always, keep that inquisitive mind, right? Keep asking those good questions, and be patient, be as patient as you can be with us as we figure out who the right people are to ask some of these questions.
Well, you've got your video running, Scott. We've got 2 more questions that are probably for you and Martha. When is summer reading being mailed out?
That's a really good question. That's one that we can get the answer to pretty quickly. The answer is soon. It's in the works. Martha and I don't have a firm date on that, but we know that when we talked to the associate dean and the assistant dean a week and a half ago, they were working on getting those mailed out to you. So they should be to you in June. I'm pretty confident that will be the case. If you need a more firm answer than that, you can follow up with Martha or me. But it's a sure thing that the books will definitely be to you by the end of June, probably sooner. And there'll be a couple of other fun things in your packages when you get the books mailed to you.
And then our other question, when are AP exam scores required to be sent in?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So this is a thing every summer, right? Like a lot of students come to orientation in a typical year in June, build a schedule, and then have to go back to the drawing board. And this is just part of the process once AP scores come in, right? So like in a normal year, you come to orientation in June, you get your AP scores back in July, you make changes to your schedule, and then in some cases, it's totally normal, and the peer mentors will vouch for this. It's normal to make changes to your schedule, the day before you move into campus, right? It's common. That can feel a little unsettling as a first year. You don't have to do that. It's more than likely that your schedule will be set. But at the risk of being long-winded, let me just say that in a normal year, AP scores trickle in over the course of the month of July. What we heard from the College Board is that because of the circumstances of COVID and makeup dates and limited work staffs and people working remotely, AP scores will be delayed, but not that delayed. So they'll still be trickling in July, and the thought is that they'll trickle into the beginning of August, which is a little later than usual, but it'll be like the first week in August. So what that means is you can be in touch. Certainly you can be in touch with Martha and me. This, as you'll learn over time, as some of you have learned already in conversations with Martha and me, and maybe with your peer mentors, usually we'll defer to the home college advisors around AP scores and how you change your schedule based on them. But we'll be helping out this year, I'm sure. So, expect to be making changes to your schedule throughout July and into August, and know that that's totally normal. You'll have plenty of time to have a finalized schedule, to take a good look at it, make sure it's right for you. You can get a second opinion, you can get a third opinion from us, from your home college advisors, and from your peer mentors.
Yeah.
Great questions.
Yeah, thanks. And Scott, just to add, do indeed make sure that your AP credits are there. And we'll help you with this when we meet with you in the fall. I love AP credits. It's kind of like your savings account, money in the bank. And some of them you may use, some of them you may not, but they show a record of success and academic prowess. So it's really important that you make sure they're showing up, and we can show you where to look for those. Part two, if you've done some dual degree work in a community college, I adore community college. Actually, I teach at one. If you do community college courses, those too might count for something, and they should appear on your transcript. When I was, I could have graduated from college early because I had a lot of extra credits. I know that helped me get into University of Pennsylvania because it showed a long-term sort of academic record of success. So yeah, and we can help you. There's a great Office of Transfer Affairs that can help you sort these things out, but not to worry, but make sure that they are appearing. I know that some departments will take 3s and 4s. There are some stipulations. There's a difference in physics. There are some nuances, but other advisors in arts and sciences and your home colleges will help sort this out. But I'm a real nerd about transcripts. I will hound you to make sure that all your AP credits and your community college credits are present, because yeah, it's a great thing that you've done, and it could help you. It could help you get out of some general education requirements. It could also be put towards your major. Who knows? But it's money in the bank.
Alrighty. Our next question is whether or not to take the foreign language placement test now, even if you guys don't know if you want to take your foreign language courses in the fall. My personal suggestion would be to take it anyways, in case you decide later on that you want to. You're going to have to take the placement exam when you elect to start taking your foreign language courses anyways. So I would say take it now or later in the summer if you want it to be more accurate to when your starting date is in terms of knowledge.
Yeah, I'd say taking it now is a good thing. And you can always, if you get a higher score than the class that you want to be in and you get there and it's too high a level, which was what I had at the beginning of my first semester, it was really easy to talk to professors and just switch down a level. You just have to go to the department office and they'll override it. So yeah, I definitely recommend taking it now because you don't want to be like lower than, like you want to get the highest score you can, and you can always move down rather than like being stuck at a lower level than is like challenging and appropriate for you.
Cool. Is it common for students to start doing research their first year? Does anyone else want to take that one? I only know one person who's done research their first year. So I want to say it's not common, but it's definitely something that can be done if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, it's similar to what we all kind of mentioned earlier. It really depends on the person. It depends on the major. It depends on if you want to. Yeah, in my experience as well, it isn't that common, but it's not unheard of. Like there are students that do participate in research their first year.
If you're thinking about double majoring, would it be better to start as a double major or add the second major later on?
I would say it's totally like cool either way. I guess if I had to give a recommendation, so I started as just a Poli-Sci major and then added a geography major. There's no downside to adding a major partway through, and there's no downside to dropping a major that you decide you don't want to have. So the only I guess what would tip my thoughts in favor of saying that it's go ahead and start with the double major is that I think you'll have an advisor in each department. So that'll just be sort of two more professors, like one extra professor who you get to know. You'll have a connection in both departments. But it's not a critical decision as to what you start out majoring in, especially if they're like two similar majors. If they're two completely different majors, I think it's maybe more important that you have different advisors. But like for me with Poli-Sci and geography, it's like not really a big deal that I did, you know, the way I started, or if I had started with double majoring in both right off the bat.
Also, if you're a planner, I'm a planner, and you want to know what all your requirements are, I would declare both majors at the beginning, just so you can keep track of everything.
I agree with that. I think that keeping I think for me it's been really helpful to keep like a little chart of like which classes I'm going to be taking over my course at college. Has really helped me understand like what my semesters are going to look like and helped me focus in on what my interests really are.
Do most people go random when choosing roommates? I don't know if it's most people. I know I did, and I enjoyed I had a good experience with it. Anyone else want to weigh in on that?
I didn't go random, and I actually met my roommate randomly at orientation, and we ended up trying to room together sophomore year and having a lot of different conflicts because we didn't actually get along as well as we thought we would have. So I think it's good to go random. It's good to know people. Like I think whatever you do, it'll be able to work out. And Res Life does have options where you can try to switch up your roommates. So you can request to leave your room or change it halfway through the year.
Yeah, Maddie, I went random my freshman year, and my roommate fall semester actually dropped out, and we weren't that great of friends. But then my also random roommate, my second semester freshman year, we are like thick as thieves, I guess is a good way to put it. And so I would, in hindsight, I would still go random. I think it's a great way to meet someone new, and ultimately it's okay. It's just 1 year, you're good.
Yeah, I went random. Oh, sorry, Sophia.
Sorry.
I went random both years. My first year in the fall, it wasn't an ideal situation. My roommate actually ended up transferring out of UVM that December, so switched for the spring semester. But definitely if you are concerned about like, oh, I don't know about living with someone else, or if there are problems with your roommate, that is definitely where like RAs play a huge role. They are another resource to you. And I'm sure like Maddie, you can talk about this a little too, but like they are literally trained to help with all types of situations. So you can always go to your RA, your resident advisor, with say a roommate issue that you feel like you are can't handle on your own, or that you want like a mediator for. So there are ways, if you're unhappy, to become happy with your living situation.
Just so you guys aren't scared, it doesn't always end badly. Like I had a random roommate and got along really well with her and my suite mates, and the four of us lived together again the second year. So don't be scared by a random person. And again, you'll get your roommates' information over the summer, and you can connect with them and start to get to know them. I feel like most of the stories I've heard are generally positive. And yeah, I think most people go random, so you don't feel like you have to find someone right now, because it's most of the time it turns out just fine, and most people go random.
To second that, I'm getting an apartment with the second roommate I went random with, so it really does work out well.
I'd jump in as someone who didn't go random. I met my roommate like at orientation. We were just talking and felt like we had a lot in common, and that was really positive. He's like one of my good friends, probably not my like best friend, but we're going to be in a suite together this year. We're good friends. But I guess what I'd say is definitely be thinking about, like, if you are trying to find someone like on a Facebook group or something to room with, definitely be focused more on, are they going to be a good fit to live with than are they going to be a good fit as a friend? Because like I have certain friends who I'm extremely close with, but I don't think it would be a great idea to live with, just because like they're really neat and I can't always hold up like my end of being really neat, or just like different sleep schedules and stuff. So if you meet someone on a Facebook group that you think you're going to be really good friends with, definitely keep in touch with them and be really good friends with them, but don't like automatically room with them without talking about some of the more important things about living together. Because obviously, like if you're both in honors college, it'll be easy to see lots of each other, and you might honestly have a better friendship if you're not living together, if like you're not on the same page about some things about that.
Did any of you guys take IB classes in high school? And do you know how those transfer?
I did IB. My high school was an IB high school. The transfer credits work in the same way as they do for AP credits. You get 3 to 6 transfer credits at UVM depending on your score and which class you took. So some of the SL classes, I guess, transfer for fewer credits, and some of the HL classes would transfer for more. But if you want more information, I think I posted a link or a reference to a link about it in the chat.
Some schools are pushing up their move-in date because of COVID and then leaving early in the winter. Is the August 28th date set, or could it change? So as it was mentioned earlier, everything's subject to change, but UVM is going to announce that if anything does change relatively quickly. What was the biggest challenge you faced as a college freshman that you weren't expecting?
I can jump in here. I don't know if it's a specific challenge, maybe one I like made for myself, but I felt like coming into honors college, I definitely felt a pressure that I needed to like do everything on my own, and that like, oh, if I'm in honors college, like I should be smart enough, I should be capable enough to do everything on my own. And that wasn't really the best choice for me. And so it took a couple of semesters for me to feel comfortable like utilizing resources like the tutoring center and CAPS. And so I think just understanding that like, yes, you're in the honors college. Yes, you were clearly a high achieving student in high school, but that doesn't mean that you don't need help sometimes, and that you shouldn't use these resources because your tuition's already going to pay for them. So I'd say like with any challenge you have, like it's okay to seek help for it. And I think it definitely helps you in the long run if you do.
Yeah, I think that's really well said, Sophia. I know something that was a big change for me. I came from a really small high school where everyone was super about like the numbers and what you got and like always comparing. And like that is not, first of all, my experience with UVM, that's not how it is, but also that's not how it should be. Like really take this time to look at this experience, like your college experience, as how you want to grow as a person, as an academic, and focus on that. Like there will be times in college, I know it's happened to me, I'm sure it might have happened to other peer mentors, where you may not do as well as you thought you did on an exam, or you may say, I know this has happened for me, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could go back to high school. I thought that one class was a little easier then. But like look at it as a growing opportunity. Like you are a scholar, you're an academic, and don't get too bogged down in the numbers, because that's not what this is about. It's about you growing. And UVM is, and especially the honors college as well, is really good at fostering that. And like Sophia said, take advantage of resources. Don't be afraid to do that, because in the long run, they really help. And the students that do take advantage of the resources tend to thrive and go on and do amazing things after UVM.
Tessa, I think you make such a good point about the distinction between could and should, and I'm aware of the fact that it's 8:05, but I wanted to pop in and say, yeah, for me, the biggest thing was confronting this idea of what college should be. Like I was told, these are going to be the best 4 years of your life, like get ready, it's going to be awesome. And it was awesome, and it is awesome, and it's an extraordinary ride, but there's a lot of pressure that you place on yourself when you walk in with this, you know, expectation that it's going to be magical the whole time. And my advice would be, as Tessa was saying, as Sophia is saying, like, lean into your community, lean into us. We're here for you, and you're not alone at any point.
Martha, do we have more time?
Well, I guess we could take some more time. Any more questions? We don't want to hold people here too long. Does anyone else have another question or two?
We have a lot more questions. It was, can we go to them?
Okay.
How
about another 15 minutes?
Okay. Is there a prereq for basic German and Russian courses? I don't believe so. The way courses work at UVM is we have 0 levels, 100 levels, 200 levels, and then if you're a graduate student, 300 levels. And as you go up in that, each 100 level has a 0 level prereq and so on and so forth. So your basic courses and your introductory courses will be 0 level courses. Are credits from courses taken through other colleges accepted? Yes, is the basic answer. There can be some discrepancies from college to college, but I haven't experienced that in the 2 classes that I transferred over. So
I had a discrepancy in one of my classes. In high school, I was taking a dual enrollment course called Math for the Liberal Arts because I'm an art student. And so when I tried to transfer that over to fulfill my quantitative reasoning requirement, the course material didn't line up with what UVM had in mind. So it just got counted as an elective course for me. So I still got credit for it, even though it wasn't counted as my actual distribution requirement.
You can just contact UVM's Transfer Affairs. They have an email, you can just Google them and they can help you if you have any questions. There are also resources online that can show you some of the different schools, what their courses will transfer. If any of you are Vermont residents and took a course with VTC or CCV, it'll show you a lot of those, just like Vermont schools. So just, yeah, if you have questions, if something didn't go through right, just email Transfer Affairs and they should be able to help you.
are there major differences between environmental science majors in different colleges? I don't know specifically about environmental science majors. I know that for biochemistry, the major can be taken both in CAS and CALS. And the only difference is in the college distribution requirements. There is no difference in the actual major itself.
Yeah, and I can just second that. That's exactly right, Ben. Basically, the difference is your distribution requirements. So it's the courses that you kind of surround your major with, right? The major looks virtually identical, if not identical. It's more about, do you want to be taking lots of humanities, social sciences, foreign languages kinds of courses in the College of Arts and Sciences, or do you want to be much more hard sciencey, if you will, in Rubenstein, or do you want somewhat of a blend, but in a unique and different kind of way in CALS? There's a lot of nuance to that, and we would be happy to refer you to the advisors in in any of those 3 colleges, but also specifically in the environmental studies program and the environmental sciences programs.
Where can we find technology requirements for our college? I don't know that answer.
So I can kind of answer this. If you're talking more like kind of equipment, I would call it like a laptop. Definitely check with the UVM Bookstore. That's where I got mine. And they actually have recommendations based on your major or your college on what device may be best for your major. So I know, like I said earlier, I came in as an English major. So for me, it didn't really matter Mac versus PC. But I know one of my good friends who just graduated from the nursing student, I think they had suggested her like a certain a certain format that would be best for her classes. So the UVM Bookstore, which also has our tech center in it, is a really good source. But then UVM also offers like the Microsoft Office suite. Microsoft Teams is really helpful, especially in this time that we're living in. So definitely download that. It's free through UVM. And also like the tech department at UVM, like the tech helpline, can also help with any questions you may have about that.
I can also speak to this a little bit. I took an engineering course this last semester, and a couple weeks before, my professor sent out an email detailing exactly like what kind of computer requirements we needed and for our mice and all the programs we needed to download. So your professors are really open with communicating about anything you'll need for classes, which is super helpful.
Okay. Do you guys have to take physical education classes? No, you don't have to take physical education in college, or at least at UVM. And then how many classes do you typically take per semester? I believe to be a full-time student, you need 12 credits, and the maximum as of last semester was 19 credits, where if you're taking one class is typically 3 credits, so that would be 4 classes to be a full-time student, up to 6 classes. And in some cases, classes can be 4 credits. If you are a science major like me and you have to take biology with a lab, that's a 4-credit course. So I've found that I've typically taken between 16 and 18 credits a semester, although last semester I took 15. So, but I tend to shoot a little high. I think the average is more around 15 credits a semester.
And I would recommend that for your first year and especially your first semester, don't be like Ben, like don't shoot for 18 or 19, because there's definitely an adjustment going from high school to college. So I would say it's better to, start with 15 or something like that. Make sure you're comfortable. And then if you're like 15 credits is a breeze, then your next semester you can take more. But yeah, don't feel like you have to take like the maximum number of credits, because 19 is a lot of credits.
Also, just to jump in, back to this like AP as like a savings account, so true. Because of my AP credits and how strategic I've been in selecting my classes, the fall of 2019 and the spring of 2020, I only had to take 14 credits a semester, which was still 4 classes because they had labs, which is how it kind of builds up. So definitely depends on the student. But yeah, like Sophia said, don't feel like you have to take 19, but definitely like if you want to be a full-time student, you have to make 12. And if you want to graduate on time, you may have to take a certain amount, but your advisors can help figure that out. Martha and Scott can help with that as well. And then during registration, we peer mentors are also pretty good at helping stay on a trajectory to make sure you graduate on time or even early if you want to.
And just so you all know too, like if assuming you don't have any transfer AP credits coming in, to graduate with a bachelor's degree in 4 years, it's 120 credits, which turns into 15 credits a semester. So like you can just do 15 credits a semester and you will graduate and be perfectly fine, assuming you don't even come in with any transfer AP credits. So don't feel like you have to do more than that. Like if you do more one semester, then maybe the next semester you can back off a little bit, take it easy.
Okay, so I guess, Ben, shall we go to, okay, so final offer, go to 8:30 this evening. If you have a few more questions, now's your time. And so let's keep going for another 15 minutes.
All right, let's find the next question. Are there free gym classes available outside of having access to the gym? I don't think there are free gym classes throughout the semester, but I do believe that there's a week where you can go to any class available, first come, first serve, and at no cost.
So I also kind of answered this in the chat too, if you guys want to look at that. You can get a group fitness pass for $70 for a semester, and that lets you into as many group fitness classes as you want. If you don't want to go that much, each class is $5, and they have anything from yoga to kickboxing to Zumba. And they're a lot of fun, and they're, open to anyone and beginners. And if you don't want to pay, like, there's a really nice gym. Indoor track has 2 levels. Like, there's tons of other places where you can work out and not be in a group fitness class that's free.
There's also somewhat back to kind of the PE question. There are classes called PEACs, which you can actually take for credit. They typically, on average, are 1 credit, and they offer similar options to the group fitness classes, but they are like a class that you have to attend and get credit for. So there's yoga, kickboxing. So that's also something you could look into. And if, say, you're taking 14 credits and you really just want another credit that semester, that's a great way to kind of bump up your credit count and tack it on to hit that 120 at the end. So that's also something to keep in mind.
I took juggling this last semester as a PE course. It was a lot of fun. We learned how to juggle and do tricks and also do like partner juggling and stuff. And I know that's going to be an option for the fall, so I'd highly recommend that one.
What are the hours for facilities like dining halls and the gym? I don't remember what the hours are for the gym. I believe it's open until midnight most nights. Dining halls, someone else want to take dining halls?
Yeah, I can do dining halls. The usual, so I think Central opens at 7 on weekdays, and then the Harris Millis Dining, which is that's the nearest to University Heights North, I think that opens at 7:30. And then for closing, most close at 8 or 8:30. I think Central closes at 8:30 on weekdays. But then Harris Millis stays open until 9:30. And then once the semester gets into full swing, Harris Millis does this thing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where they close at 9:30 and sort of change things over. And then at 10, they open back up. It's 10 until midnight, but sometimes they run out of food for late night. So you can go back in, and it's usually kind of like comfort food stuff, mac and cheese or chicken nuggets and stuff. So you can, so like I don't know, I won't try to sum it up with anything, but I think someone put the dining hall hours in the chat, so that's helpful. And
Sorry, I just wanted to add on, you can just Google UVM like central dining hours, and the same with the gym. I put it in there. I think it's normally 6 a.m. to midnight, and then weekends are a little different, but just Google like UVM gym hours, and I think even Google has like the hours pop up. So
yeah, there's also lots of retail dining locations where you can use points, where basically $1 is equivalent to 1 point. And those typically run like pretty standard business hours, I would call it. But also I recommend downloading this app. You may have already had it for Admitted Students Day for those of you that came. It's called Uvm Compass. It also has a UVM like dining shortcut that lists all the locations where you can get food on campus, both dining halls and retail, and it lists their hours, even what they're serving that day, so you can kind of scope out like, oh, Central's got really good lunch today, let's go there. But then, oh, Northside's got a cool dinner, so let's go over to Trinity and get some food there. So definitely recommend the UVM Compass app for dining related things, but also it has a bunch of other cool features like UVM boards on there a lot.
You can, where can you find your advisor? You can find, I always go to my degree audit when I need to know, remember who my advisors are. It's listed at the top. I don't talk to my advisor from CAS very often, which is why I don't always remember. But Martha has all the answers for me. So
as an aside, I think a great way to like, if you're like, Ben, I really cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. As an aside, like if you want to learn more about like the campus and like campus life, go on Instagram, go on social media, like type in UPB, which is the program board. Like I'm trying to think. There's a whole bunch of accounts. If you start with University of Vermont and look at what they're following, you can kind of get an idea of what you might be interested in, see how it evolved over the summer. I don't know, something that I did.
Maryann, while your mic is on, what kind of laptop do you have? Or what would you recommend for a bio major?
I would, I don't think you can go wrong with any of them really. I personally have a MacBook Air. I would say that a lot of biology majors have MacBooks just because a lot of biology majors happen to have iPhones. I would say a lot of UVM kids do the MacBook grind, and I don't think you can go wrong, but I don't think you necessarily need like a high core processor, like special spec thing. So go wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a bio major and I use the Dell and I use Windows 10 and it's been great. I haven't run into any problems at all. And so, yeah, bio wise, I'm not really sure that it exactly matters. Some of you may already be used to one formatting and have a preference there. But yeah, like I said, even I have a Dell and run on Windows 10, it's been great.
Yeah, just like Tessa said, if you're used to one format, unless you're in like a few majors where it really matters, if you like the format you're in, sticking with that is going to be like one less change to have to adjust to in college.
All right, our last question, last one that we have is, does University Heights North have a kitchen with an oven and do people cook food to share? It does have a kitchen with an oven, and we do have a few events where the peer mentors host where we share food. We have pancake breakfasts. I make cookies a lot. Are there any others? We do coffee. What else do we do, guys? I can't remember everything.
Pancakes.
Pancakes, yeah.
Pancakes. Martha says we have chili night. And then there are also a bunch of clubs who will make food, and a lot of times they'll make the food in that kitchen. So you can buy stuff there.
I kept muting myself again. Sorry, I just want to jump in terms of late nights, the original late night Feel Good grilled cheese. Feel Good, just a quick Feel Good plug. We are a student-run nonprofit organization, and all of our donations go to ending extreme poverty. And roughly once a month on Friday nights, we make and deliver gourmet grilled cheeses that are really exceptional, plus all the money goes to a good cause, so why wouldn't you love that? But there are plenty of other clubs too. Pretty much every like Friday and Saturday night, there'll be some sort of club selling like cookies or dino nuggets or something in there. So generally you can find people in there making food.
I just want to say I can totally attest to the awesomeness of the Feel Good grilled cheese sandwiches. Late night on Fridays, perfect snack.
Martha is reminding us that Dean Gentleman also makes mac and cheese every once in a while, which is pretty awesome.
It is dangerously delicious.
And Professor Grimmer makes an apple crisp that's really good as well sometimes.
I help him peel the apples, so I can vouch for him.
Yeah, so the kitchen, I think we'll probably use it even more this year because we have two initiatives that we're doing this year. I'll let Scott tell you briefly about his initiative. I'll be leading a wellness initiative, and part of that will be nutrition and healthy eating and good eating. So I think food will be definitely in your future.
To go along with the theme, how close is the nearest grocery store? A bus ride away. It's pretty close. It's about a 5-minute bus ride away.
A free bus ride with your student
Free,
ID.
yeah. And then where is laundry? There are laundry rooms so University Heights North is set up so there's two different areas, places you can enter the residential parts of the building. And at the bottom of the staircases for both of those locations, there are laundry rooms. Really nice thing about laundry is that it's included with tuition, so you don't have to bring a big bag of quarters. Just hit the start button.
Also, just want to give you guys a little inside scoop. You most likely will have to be carrying your laundry down some sort of flights of stairs. So make sure you have some sort of like basket or hamper you are comfortable carrying down flights of stairs. I know for me, this is a little hack if you want to invest in one. They're usually not that expensive. I had a laundry backpack, so my laundry bag had like straps on it that I could just like fling over my shoulders and walk on down and do my laundry. So just a word of advice from the wise, definitely have some sort of vesicle to carry your dirty laundry downstairs that you're comfortable carrying down flights of stairs.
I know I used the IKEA, I don't know if you guys know about this, but they're blue IKEA bags that are meant for packing. I use those as laundry bags. It's a really great second use for them.
As someone living off campus, I just want to tell you all to start saving your quarters now, because I am constantly looking for quarters. And I know this doesn't affect you right now, but it's a real struggle. So appreciate the free laundry.
In other words, start saving now for junior year. Sophia, is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I have a little bag of quarters. I'm always looking for quarters. So yeah, free laundry is really great. Save now though.
You can also, though, as someone who used to sell stuff at a farmer's market, go to a bank and give them a $10 bill and they'll give you $10 of quarters for free. So that's cool.
Yeah, but it's just, I'm trying to stay inside right now, social distancing. So.
Yeah. Hopefully by, at least by these guys' junior year, hopefully we can go in banks.
Yeah, hopefully.
I jump on the ski bus question that I just saw in the chat. Pretty much if the mountains are open, the buses are running on Saturdays and Sundays all year. Definitely spend $20 to be a ski and snowboard club member, because then you get unlimited bus rides as long as space allows. It's by sign up. And if people have any questions about like pros or cons of different mountains, I'm definitely happy to talk about that sometime if you want to email me or anything. Do students get discounts for season passes? Absolutely. I skied all of last season for $99 for the whole season at J, which is a special first year deal. So the deals change from year to year, but definitely don't buy anything until you like get to school and see what the options are, or at least don't buy anything unless you're taking advantage of a UVM student deal, for sure.
Also, along those lines with student discounts, once you guys get your CAT card, which is like your UVM student ID that identifies you as a University of Vermont student you can use to get around campus, here's another little like life hack. A lot of places actually offer college student discounts, so don't be afraid when you go into a store when everything reopens and you're doing it safely, of course, to always just ask, hey, do you have a student discount? I know I've gone places and I've got like 10-15% off just for being in college. So always have your UVM student ID handy once you get it, because not only is it your way to access stuff around campus, but it could save you some coin off campus as well.
Okay, we are approaching 8:30. Martha, do you want to wrap things up here?
Yeah, I think so. So question about freshmen in cars. Do one of you want to answer that one?
I can take that one because I had one my sophomore year. So yeah, freshman year, there aren't any parking spots available unless they change it this year, but generally unless you have a specific exception why you need it, like a job or something, they don't offer them because there's not a whole lot of space. But starting your sophomore year, you can pay for them. Generally, you want to be keeping an eye on your UVM email because as soon as passes are available, they go pretty quick. I had one this spring of my sophomore year because I was involved in cream, so I didn't want to walk down Spear Street at 3 a.m. to milk cows in the winter without a car. So it's definitely useful, but most of my friends didn't have cars until we moved off campus, and they did perfectly fine. Like people have mentioned, the buses are free and always running. Plus Burlington is a great place to like walk, skateboard, ride your bike, rollerblade, and everything is pretty close to campus that you'll probably need. So you don't really need a car unless you have like a job or something specific. I mean, it helps, but you'll be fine without one.
I would say, like having grown up in rural Vermont, like at the end of high school, my car was really important to me. And that was probably one of the biggest things I was nervous about for going to college, was like losing that freedom of having a car. But I'm actually, I think, really happy that I didn't, because it really sped up the like making new friends at college and like like, I don't know if it sounds cliche, like moving on to that chapter of my life. Like, I think if I'd had a car, I would have been like going home to see family sometimes, or like maybe like just doing stuff with friends that I had from high school who were around. So not having a car was actually really good. And I'm not planning on having a car sophomore year either, because the bus system is good enough. And it's, I mean, I think it would be a bit of a hassle. So I think I was happy enough with my situation last year that I'm going to stick with that for this year.
Yeah, just quickly, I didn't have a car my first or second year, and I didn't have trouble getting to like when I need to go to the grocery store or anything. And also, if you have friends who are maybe sophomores or juniors or seniors who have cars, like you can always, like Cal mentioned, carpool. And a lot of clubs that do need to like travel somewhere often have like university sponsored transport. So it's definitely not necessary. Don't feel like you have to have a car, but if you have an exception, obviously like that can get worked out, but it's not like something you absolutely have to have, because UVM and Burlington itself is really accessible.
Also, invest in a bike. Just get a bike. It's gonna be, there's a big hill. You're gonna need to train a little bit to get up the big hill from the bottom to the top, but you're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. Use a bike.
Yeah, and one of our peer mentors, Luke Fredrickson, is an incredible cyclist, and there's all sorts of clubs on campus. So yeah, I agree with you, Maryann. Get a cycle and bicycle, and you'll be in good shape.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
Luke is on the bike co-op too. So he not only is a good cyclist, but he can fix your bike for you if you make friends with him.
Right. And yeah, exactly. He's excellent. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up this evening. Hopefully you all have received an email from your peer mentor. I think so. So these folks are your main people to communicate about the inside scoop of life in the Honors College. Scott and I will be your advisors. We will be reaching out to you as well, and you're welcome to reach out to us at any point. There will be more welcome activities. I encourage you to look at the Honors College webpage to also see what kinds of events are going on. There's also some links to housing questions and Instagram and Facebook. So take a look at that. So again, welcome to the Honors College. Welcome to our community. We know the times are rough, but we're really looking forward to a good fall of inclusion and learning and caring for each other. And I think we're gonna have a great time. Scott, do you want to say something to our advisees before you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because I missed the first couple of minutes, and I realized too that some folks have already left. But just really quickly, I would say we're excited you're coming. We're excited that there are such great questions. I want to emphasize a couple of things. One, use your peer mentors. These peer mentors are, as you now know, pretty remarkable. And the others who you'll get to know over time are equally remarkable, right? We are really lucky. Martha and I count ourselves really, really lucky to be able to work with the peer mentors. Honestly, like, I don't say this to brag, it's just true. Like, students or like staff across the university wish that they had peer mentors like we do to count on, to collaborate with. They are our colleagues, and you'll see, you know, once you meet the rest of them, how great they are. So lean on them, lean on us. I saw a couple questions about who is my advisor. Be patient with that. You will find out soon enough. Honestly, this summer, advising is really going to be a team effort across the university. Normally we would have in-person June orientation. Because we don't, Martha and I are actually helping out the College of Arts and Sciences with some of their advising. The College of Arts and Sciences Student Services advisors are relying on faculty in new and unusual ways. So you will find out who your advisor is. Just know that whoever you work with this summer is going to be great. They wouldn't be working with you over the summer if they weren't great. In terms of the Honors College, it's either going to be Martha or me. It depends on which home college you're in. That's how we're doing things for the first time this year. We're staggering things by home college. So you will learn more about that pretty soon. It'll be easy to remember. It'll be straightforward. Who your home college advisor is, that may not become clear until a little bit later on. And again, like with the whole dual citizenship and who do I go to for what, when, where, how, and why, all of that will become clear with time. We'll make sure you get it. If there's any confusion around that, your peer mentors are the folks who have used more than one advisor for years now, so lean on them for that as well. I'm really excited to meet you all. Martha and I are we're just really, we feel really lucky to be able to work with you. My email is scott.clark. I'll throw it in the chat again, just so you have it. Again, be patient. I may or may not be your advisor. It's either Martha or me, but if you do have questions, you can feel free to reach out. I think I'll leave it there. There's gonna be more of these. So like, you know, if you feel like you have the information you need based on this town hall, great, but we will have other town halls, some of which will just be Martha and me, some of which I believe will be with peer mentors. So keep an eye out for that and keep in touch with us one way or another. We're really excited to have you.
Yeah, and join us for trivia night on the 15th via Zoom. And also a virtual tour. Those are just our June events. We'll be adding more to this in July. And again, just to re-emphasize with the peer mentors, Scott and I with advising in general in the Honors College, it's holistic. We want you to have a great academic experience, but we also want you to grow in other ways and have fun, join clubs, be active, be healthy. And so we're here to sort of refer you to all sorts of resources. The undergrad research office is in our building. We will also be referring you to them. So welcome, and you know, now you are part of our family in HCOL, and we're going to create a good atmosphere, a great atmosphere together. And don't worry too much about all the unknowns. About registration will fall into place. You'll have plenty of opportunity to talk with professional advisors and faculty advisors. And any questions for us, just shoot us an email. All right, welcome everybody, and thank you. And peer mentors, any parting words?
I just want to stress that like you have your one peer mentor, but we're a team. And if you look on the Honors College website, we have bios, and I think between the 16 of us, we're probably involved in pretty much everything on campus. So if there is like look at that and reach out to someone who seems cool or someone who you want to learn more about one of their activities from. Don't feel like you're stuck to the one person who you're assigned to. They're the person who will know you best, but all 16 of us are here as a resource to all of you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say congrats on all your accomplishments. I know a lot of you guys are going through kind of a hard time right now with school, but congratulations on all you've done in high school. You're obviously all very amazing people, and we're so happy to have you in the Honors College family. So congrats, and I hope you can find joy and looking forward to being a Catamount in the fall. And like Cal said, please reach out to us. Any question, big, small, if we don't know the answer, I bet you anything we know someone who does. So totally reach out to us. Any question, we're here for you. And yeah, congrats again.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so I guess that's the end of our evening. Have a good night, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you for coming. Thank you, peer mentors, too. Thank you. Bye.